Sir, you are not audible.
Not yet started, please. Kindly wait. Not yet started. We'll just give it a start in due time, maybe in a couple of minutes. Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Very good afternoon, both of you, and the rest of the class as well.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon,
Uh,
sir.
yes, please. It's the time to give it a start, guys. I know that there are only 13 students, of course. Could we just know the previous class, psychology? Then what was the other subject that you guys had apart from psychology?
Psychology, economics.
Economics. Okay, fine, fine. Did Madam take the class or any work assigned to you?
Sir,
No,
it was
sir.
work assigned to us. Ma'am didn't take today's class.
Yeah, we know actually they are in the process of finalizing the marks. Okay, fine, fine, right. Yeah, let's give it a start. In the meantime, if at all there are any wakeful students from the group Chanakya, will just join immediately. Well, as you see, uh, the laptop screen, wherein you are able to see notebook work from the first short story of the supplementary reader, The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse by William Saroyan. Well, actually, this notebook work was supposed to be shared with you either yesterday or day before yesterday itself. But because of some reasons, due reasons, it was not shared. Do not worry, it will be shared today. Once the notebook work is done, then we can say that it is formally finished. Until and unless it is done, we really can't say that it's really done or it's really completed. I mean, the topic can be a short story, a poem, or even a lesson, or for that matter, any grammar chapter as well, or composition chapter as well. We simply say that it is wrapped up. That's it, not completely done. So the formal way of putting an end to any discussed topic is just with notebook work. Well, in this, you have three things as usually. There will be extracts, text-based questions, and some questions known as competency-based questions. And mostly, we will be just having the discussed ones as well, just the discussed ones, so that you also feel comfortable to write them in your notebook, back in your notebook, right? So let's just first have a quick glance of it, and then we will discuss what we are going to do this week. Okay, so it starts off with the extracts. We have three extracts given here. And what you do is just put the heading in the middle or the top of the page along with the writer's name. Please make it a habit of adding the writer's name just below the heading of the piece, literary piece, the title of the literary piece, whether it can be a poem, short story, or even a lesson, which I could not see you in some of the notebook works, which I could not actually see in some of the notebook works submitted last time. So make sure that the title of the lesson or poem or short story must always be accompanied with the writer of it. Okay, so you'll just put at the top in the middle, and then just write the extract side heading or subheading we can say, then just copy this down as it is. Then straight away the number of the question and the answer choice. Okay, what is the right answer choice for that one? How was Maurad associated with Aram? A real brother, as a cousin, or as a father, or as a son?
Cousin.
Cousin.
So cousin. Then you just write B, cousin. All right. So this is how you write, and then put the second number. You don't have to write the question and then answer choices. No need. Then of course, question number 2, whatever that you think is the right option. What did Aaron get to see? Was the right answer? Can I just have that?
Cousin was sitting
His
on the
cousin
horse.
was sitting on a horse.
Of course. So option C, his cousin was sitting on a horse, that you write there. So question number and the answer choice. Question number and then answer choice. So in this way, you will just finish off these 3 extracts that will be having 4 questions under them each. Then we have text-based questions in the form of MCQs. Okay. Well, here also you do the same thing. You put the question number, then write the answer choice. That's it. If you think A, then put A arm. If you think B, then put B Khusro. If you think C, then C Jan Biro. If you think D, then D Maurad. By the way, who is the right answer? I mean, what is the right option? Who
Maurad.
was for the dialogue I have a way with?
Maurad.
Of course it was Maurad. So can somebody please let us know 1 or 2 occasions where he used this expression?
He knows how to handle the horse and he has a way with dealing with animals.
Farmer as well. John Byro.
John Biro as well. Okay, that's great. So he used it, if my memory serves me right, he has used it that 3 times back in the lesson. Number 1, he said that he had a way with the horses. He said that he had a way with farmers, that is John Biro. And he said that he had a way with dogs when he just went back to return the horse. Do you guys remember that?
Yes, sir.
So, who is known for the dialogue I have a way with? Of course, it is the Maurad. So, like that. So, put question number 1 and then the Maurad. Finish. Like that. So, there are 10 text-based questions in this. Do them. And finally, most importantly, competency-based questions. We have 5 questions here. Just write the question. In fact, it is required a bit. In the other cases, you don't have to write the questions, but here it is required. Just write the question. Then try to, just give as much explanation as possible. Because here there is no limit to the words. So you can just extend that and try to expand that answer as far as possible. If it is, given as a short answer question, you'll be able to do that. Even if it is given as a long answer question, you'll be able to do that. If you are okay with the explanation. So, and these are all the discussed questions only. Just don't forget, these are all the discussed questions, wherein I try to just, give some idea about that one. But if you have a different perception or a better perception, you're always welcome to present that. And I really, really appreciate if you do so. But make sure that it should be convincing and logically correct. Okay? Well, hopefully the notebook work is clear. Is this clear, everybody? The notebook work?
Yes, sir.
Now. So this week, we will be just starting off with reading skills. Well, reading skills are nothing but reading comprehension passages. If you remember, in the beginning of our classes, I just gave you a PDF document wherein the question paper designer pattern was there, and in which there were reading skills, and in that you could see there were two Romans, that too in the very beginning of it, number 1 and number 2, in the very beginning of the question paper. So there you came across that you did have 2 comprehension passages. Hopefully you remember that one. If you're not able to remember that one, you were asked to copy it down in the beginning of your English notebook. If you can just open that one, you could see that. You'll be able to see that. And for your comprehension, I'm just going to present that before you. So as you see here you are. Can you see that? And this is the question paper for you guys. So in this, of course, we know that there are 2 parts, part A for 40 marks and part B for another 40 marks. And the whole question paper starts off with reading skills, otherwise known as reading comprehension passages here. So we, we have actually 2 different topics as far as reading skills are concerned. Number 1, reading comprehension passages. Number 2, note making and summarizing. And that will be the beginning, that will be in the beginning of the second part, that is here. We are not going to talk about it right now. We will be having an extension. So this we will be having a word once we are done with reading comprehension passages. Okay, so let's give it a try to understand what these are first. Reading comprehension passages. Fine. It's very clear that we have 2 passages. One passage is for 10 marks, another for 8 marks. See, let's first see what about the 10-mark passages. So we have 2 many varieties of passages, as a matter of fact, but we need to cover 3 different varieties for this 10-mark passage. Before I just talk about those varieties, we would like to know first what the passage is. What is a passage? Any idea about it? What's a passage? What is a passage? Of course, reading comprehension passages are not at all new to you. You must have had them maybe from class 5, if I'm not wrong. And in the last class also, class 10, you did have these varieties, in fact, for 20 marks, 10 marks each. Well, so what's a passage? Let's first understand what it is. Then we will just have a word about the types in them. That is factual, descriptive, literary, all that. What is a passage, please? Any idea? Do you know anything about a passage? Do you remember anything about it? Just feel free to put it forward, please.
It's a paragraph on a certain topic.
That's a good attempt. It's a paragraph on a certain topic. Very nice attempt. Kashish. Well, anybody else? Do you remember anything about it? Or just do you know anything about passages? Well, in the meantime, let me ask one more thing. Are there any new guys here? Well, do remember that I'm going to have a special class for those guys who did not, who were not there in the beginning classes. Like for, the portrait of a lady, a photograph, for all these lessons of poems. So if you were not there, I'm just going to take a special class the coming Sunday. Okay? Now you can join that. Because I did have some new guys in the other section as well. So it is specially meant for them. And if at all there are any other from your section as well, those who were not present, those who could not, who were not there while we were discussing the first chapter, the portrait of a lady, or the first poem, a photograph, you may also join that class. And it will be by preferably 10 o'clock or 10:30 on Sunday. Just bear this in your mind, please. Now, coming back to this one. So, do you remember anything about passages? Do you know anything about passages? Just put it forward, please. Kashish expressed. Okay, now Shruti raised her hand. Please go ahead, Shruti.
So passage is just a portion of a written work.
That's great. Okay, good attempt as well. Some portions of a written work. Okay, that's great. Well, anybody else? I think Divya, you are struggling with the network. Kindly find a place in your house where you receive better signal strength so that there won't be any disturbances like this. Okay. Anybody else? Gurnur, Manan, Srivali, Shruti. Oh, Shruti just responded. Ritika madam, Sheesh. Anybody? On the rest, in fact. Okay. Let's go ahead with Kashish's definition as well. Only. See, if you're able to see some paragraphs or even a single paragraph talking about one single topic, that is known as a passage. And that topic can be any topic, can be anything under the sun. It can be about a school, examination, political party, a scientific concept, an invention, discovery, experiment, whatnot, any topic in this world. So if at all you're able to see a collection of paragraphs or sometimes even a single paragraph about one particular topic, one single topic, then that is a passage. That's it. Wherein you can see some details about a topic. That's it. There's no rocket science behind it. It's as simple as that. So a passage in any language, not only in English, in any language, it's just, of course, a collection of paragraphs or sometimes even a single paragraph discussing one single topic, one single topic, one single topic. Okay? So that's a passage. Now we have reading comprehension passages. What do we mean by reading comprehension passages? Passages are given for comprehension by reading. That's what they mean. Comprehension means understanding completely. So reading comprehension passages are the passages that are given for understanding completely by reading them and answering the questions that are followed the passage. So if you just look at that, the 10-mark passage will have 11 questions after it. We need to just do any 10 out of 11. And that can be a factual passage, descriptive passage, or literary passage. And do not forget, it's an unseen one. Sorry. It's an unseen one. Unseen means you will not have a passage from the syllabus prescribed. You are not familiar with that passage because that is not a part of your syllabus. That is not given from any of the prescribed syllabus. It can be from anywhere. If that is given from the prescribed syllabus, then that will not become an unseen passage. Instead, it is known as a seen passage, a familiar passage, a known passage. But this one is an unseen passage or unknown passage, otherwise known as unfamiliar passage. That means whatever that you see here as a passage cannot be seen in the prescribed syllabus from any lesson or short story or poem or anywhere like that. So it's an unseen one. It can be about an incident, accident, part of the biography of a person, etc. Nowhere. It's not going to be the part of your syllabus. It will not be either from prescribed short stories or lessons or from poems as well. Nowhere in the prescribed syllabus. So we will be having some unseen ones. But we have three varieties of passages under this: factual, descriptive, and literary. What are they, by the by? What do you think are factual passages? Any idea about it?
Those passages who are based on true events.
Okay, good. Glad that you just thought of that one. Factual in that way. Very good. Very good attempt. Good note. Any other perceptions? Sorry. So, well, when we were talking about the pattern of the question paper, we just did have a word about all these varieties, and I assure you that I would be having a word again once we just take a detailed discussion on these factual, descriptive, and literary. No worries. So, like you thought, factual passages include factual information in simple words, facts and figures. No arguments, no opinions, nothing as such. Only facts and figures. Real information, wherein you could see no opinions being expressed, no arguments being made, no persuasion is being made, something as such. There won't be anything as such. Instead, the information will be straight and clear. And that includes facts and figures. In simple terms, of course, factual information. Whereas the second one is quite opposite to the first one, that is descriptive. Descriptive passage is a kind of passage where you see arguments being made, where you see opinions being expressed, where you see persuasion being made. That means, we persuade, we see the author persuading the readers from the topic being discussed by him or her. So after going through that kind of passages, descriptive passages, which are actually known as discursive passages, discursive, DISCURSIV, discursive passages. They are, of course, known as discursive passages most popularly. Well, you can see arguments, you can see opinions, you can see persuasion in those kind of passages. And factual passages are quite opposite to it. Factual passages are those kind of passages where you cannot see anything as such. Arguments, opinions, persuasion. Only factual information will be there. So, factual passages and descriptive passages are quite opposite to each other. But there is one more variety, that is literary passages. What do you think it is? Any guesses? Any guesses? Are we clear with factual and descriptive, at least? Still unclear? Can we have the acknowledgement? Are you clear about factual and descriptive?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Now, just try to take a guess about the literary variety of passages. Literary passages. What do you think they are? Sorry. Yeah. Any idea? Okay, what do you think are Literary, what do you mean by that term, literary? Literary means something related to literature only, right? So if at all the passage is from any short story or novel, dramas, or lesson, or even a poem, then that's going to be the literary passage. There's nothing too difficult behind that term. Literary means something related to literature. So if you are able to see any passage from any short stories other than the ones prescribed to you, you get my point? If at all you get any literary passage from the lessons, poems, or short stories prescribed to you, then that will not become an unseen literary passage. That will become a seen literary passage that you have at a different place. I mean, here in the 5th and the 6th Romans, in the form of extracts, they are known as literary passages. What I mean to say is, of course, this is a part of the lesson. I mean, short story. Of course, it's a passage, but a seen one, because it is prescribed lesson. So this is a seen literary passage, most popularly known as extracts or references to context. This you have at a different place. I mean, in the 5th Roman, where from you have some literary passages, seen ones, okay, from poetry, from one of the 5 poems that we have, and from the short stories and the lessons that we have in both the main course book Hornbill and the supplementary reader snapshots. So these are literary seen passages. Literary passages only. They are of course more popularly known as extracts, or of course references to context. But here we have literary passages, but they are not from the prescribed lessons or poems or short stories. It will be from somewhere, from some lesson or poem or short story, novel or drama that are not prescribed to you. Is it any clearer? Literary passages. Are we clear with the 3 varieties of passages that we are going to have?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes,
So
sir.
we have some stuff readily available here. We have some discursive passages. We have some factual passages, and we have some case-based factual passages as well. But for the time being, we are not going to focus on literary passage. We will, of course, talk about them as well. We will include them as well. Okay. So we will just have 1 or 2 literary passages as well. Some poems not prescribed to you will also be taken into account. Now, before we just talk about those types of passages lively, let me also clarify the next type of passage as well, and that is unseen case-based factual passage, which is going to be for 8 marks. Okay, of course, there will be 9 questions, and you need to attempt any 8 out of it in the actual examination point of view. Fine. Well, now what about this one? What do you think is, of course, it's very clear that it is also an unseen one, just like the previous ones. Unseen factual, descriptive, or literary passage. It is also an unseen one, but this time it is a case-based factual passage. I mean, it's an unseen case-based factual passage. What do you think it is? How different it is from unseen factual passage? Any idea about it?
Sir,
Yes, please go ahead.
so in case space, I guess it refers to some content or statistics and or some data.
That's a very nice guess. Is that Ritika Singh?
Yes, sir.
Good. Well, that's a nice guess. Well, can somebody also, give it a try to elaborate it, or just refine that? Okay.
Like in case-based studies,
Mhm.
we have, you can say, problems which can be analyzed in
Mhm.
different ways, such as, statistical way, maybe other than
Mhm.
pie charts, other
Mhm.
graphs and charts, and
Uh-huh. Very nice. Good.
they are represented in form of graphs, as well as the information is written as
Mhm.
points and facts.
Very, very, very nice. Okay. So, factual. We know what a factual passage is. It's a straight kind of passage where we see facts and figures, or where we don't see any arguments, opinions, persuasion, anything as such. Instead, we will be having facts and figures, some factual information, some real information. If that is based on a case, if that is based on a survey, then that's going to be a case-based factual passage. For example, um, let's take this vaccination drive only. Nowadays, the whole India is, of course, getting vaccinated. Let's say how it is being done in our own state, Gujarat. So, how many people or how much percentage of the population got vaccinated in each district? So, it is discussed, and there is a table somewhere in the passage to show the statistics. Then that would become certainly an unseen case-based factual passage. It's nowhere in the prescribed lesson or prompt or shastra, and it's based on a survey or case, and that is having factual information. And so it's gonna be an unseen case-based factual passage. Is it any clearer? Well, Paridi, Manan,
It's
Shri,
clear, sir.
very nice. Good. Let's move ahead. So, well, as per the given word limit, both the passages will be combinedly 600 to 750 words. So we can say on an average, let them be for 350 to 400 words each. It can be about 400, and the second one can be about 350 words. So together, 750, around 750. So it can be somewhere between 600 and 750 words. Both the passages combinedly. Okay, now coming back to the actual thing. As this is not at all, reading comprehension passages are not at all new to us. We know how to handle them. But there are some golden guidelines, some of which might have been taught to you by some other teachers, and some of them might have already been in practice to you. But each and every point that you see over here are tested and proven ones, and they just bring the best out of you when you're handling this section. So kindly do not underestimate these simple yet very effective tips and techniques. See, some of them might have been practiced by you already, and some might have been taught to you by somebody else in the past. Here, what is more important is not knowing about them, not being familiar with them, but being able to put them into practice. That is what really matters. It's not about simply knowing, yeah, we heard this, underlining with a pencil while going through the passage. Yeah, you must have seen, you must have practiced, but knowing simply will not do, will not bring any results. You will be benefited in no way if you simply know them. till the time you put them into practice, you'll not get the best out of this. So, some might be a little new to them, new to you, but some could have already been taught to you or could have been practiced by you. But what really matters here more is not knowing about them, is not having a familiarity with them, but being able to put them into practice. And believe me or not, I've tried these techniques on more than 5,000 students and could see the best results. Do not take reading comprehension passages too lightly, please. I'm telling you, because you are going to have them every year, even for that matter, back in the boards. Now, for how many marks is it? Here, in class 11, 10 plus 8. How many marks? 10 plus 8,
18.
108, right? 18. I'm just kidding. 18. But back in the boards, 20 marks. 10 plus 10. Seriously, 20 marks. Now see the gravity of it. You must learn these and put them into, you must learn how to put these golden tips and techniques into practice to get the best results out of them by the time you handle the board examinations. So simply knowing them will not serve the purpose. What is more important here? To put them in practice as and when you handle or you tackle or you take on reading comprehension passages. Is this clear? Is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Please just understand that. That is the reason why I'm just, reiterating that fact and stressing that too much. Knowing will not do. Being familiar with them will not do. Having them in the practice and putting them in the practice as and when you handle. For that matter, every time you attempt reading comprehension passage will make the difference. Will only make all the difference. Please just bear that in your mind. Okay, now, number 1, follow the same approach, conservative or bottom-up, as done in practice. Which means, see, we have 2 different ways to, handle reading comprehension passages. Number 1, going through the given passage first, like this, whatever that we have, and then going to the questions next. Afterwards, coming back to the passage to find the answers out. This is known as conservative approach. What is that? Conservative approach. But there's one more, bottom-up approach. This bottom-up approach might have been taught to you by some of the English teachers. To be very effective, to be more effective. In this approach, we will not go through the given passage first, but we will straight away go through the questions first, skipping the passage. And after just going through the questions, we will come back to the given passage to find out the answers. This is called bottom-up approach. If you ask me, sir, which is more effective, which is correct, I really can't say. Both are effective and both are right. But if you are comfortable with bottom-up approach, then follow that only. If you're comfortable with conservative approach, then follow that only. This is not the time to experiment anything new, or this is not even there is no necessity in doing so, because both are effective, both are right. So you don't have to try anything new right now. Whatever with which you're comfortable, whatever that with which you're, fine, should be proceeded with. Either it is a conservative approach or a bottom-up approach. Is there anybody who has been taught bottom-up approach by any English teacher? You don't have to name them, but is there anybody who has been taught bottom-up approach? Yes, somebody I think raised a hand. Is that Kashish? Yeah. So when were you taught? You don't have to name the teacher, but when were you taught, Kashish?
Sir, in ninth class.
Okay, fine, fine. So there can be, some teachers who prefer bottom-up approach, but as a matter of fact, both are effective. None is inferior to none. Well, both are effective and correct. If you are comfortable with bottom-up approach, then just go ahead with that. Have a check whether it is really comfortable. If you are not, then just drop that and try the other one. If you are okay with that one, then just proceed with that one only. You don't have to try new. If you are not comfortable with bottom-up approach, but you are comfortable with conservative, then go ahead with that only. Both are effective and right only. So I really can't say that this should be preferred, which in my opinion, of course, not fair. It's just like something new, trying something new with which we are not completely comfortable. Okay, so that's my view, and it's a tested one and proven one. So I hope the first point is clearer to everybody. Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes, sir.
the next one, the most important point of all, most important point of all, among all the 6 golden tips and techniques that are listed over there, the most important tip or technique of all, extremely important, I'm telling you, extremely important, using a pencil while going through the passage. Well, what is that? It's a simple thing, yet very effective one, I'm telling you. Using a pencil while going through the passage. See, you must have seen students or your friends or classmates or your seniors, using a pencil or a pen to underline while going through any passage. Definitely you must have seen, either in your class or in any examination. For that matter, some of you must also be having the same practice of, underlining the passage with a pencil or a pen, as and when you think some part is important, maybe facts, figures, examples, illustrations, the names of the places, something like that. So you must have seen or you must have had this habit. But what is more important? Putting that into practice, learning that if it is not there already is more important. And trying that every time you take on the comprehension passage is more important. So it is an extremely, I'm telling you, extremely important tip. It might be a very simple one, but you really can see the magic if you just put that in practice. The magic of it, the best benefits you can reap out of it when you practice that sincerely. Well, if you are not in the habit of doing so, then learn the habit of underlining, but preferably with a pencil. You know why? This you can even try back in the boards also. Generally speaking, the invigilators will not allow any student to make any kind of mark on the question paper except writing your registered hall ticket number. That's it. But in the language examinations, preferably in English, you will be allowed, but make sure that you should erase whatever you have underlined once you are done with the passage. And that is the reason why I ask you to use a pencil every time, whether you are in the examination hall or in the classroom or at home. You better use a pencil while going through the passage. So as and when you see something is important, as and when you feel something is important, it can be name of a place, name of a person, name of a thing, some figures, digits, numbers, examples, reasons, whatnot, unknown or unfamiliar words or expressions, whatever that you think is important, whatever that you think might be of some help in deciding the answer of a question. Anything as such, if you feel, you better underline them with a pencil. Okay? Is that any clearer? Is that point any clearer, guys?
Yes, sir.
This is really, really very important, I'm telling you. So if you come across any unknown or unfamiliar, strange or difficult words, get them underlined. If you see any digits or figures, get them underlined. If you see any examples, get them underlined. If you see any names of places or things or persons, then get them underlined. If you see any reasons, get them underlined. If you see any abbreviations, get them underlined. You may ask me, sir, it's like, most of the times or sometimes getting the whole passage underlined. No, not really, not like that. I don't agree to that. Moreover, when you're underlining something, your mind registered that information double fold. If you simply go through that one, it registers the information. But the fact is that if you get that underlined, it registers the information more strongly. So certainly it will be of some help. Underlining is of utmost importance here, which everybody should realize and feel. And you will definitely feel the same once you put that into practice. Okay, we have some more. We have 4 more important tips and techniques that we will discuss in the next class. And we will also see one passage being practiced lively. We will take one of them and we will just practice one of them lively. Because the time is up, so I can't really extend that one. And so I'm just going to take the attendance for this class to wrap up the session. We'll see the rest of the 4 tips or techniques in the next class along with the live practice. Are there any concerns, guys?
No, sir.
Well,
No, sir.
the whole week will be about this one only. So we will be having 2 to 3 classes at least on reading comprehension passages. Do not take them lightly, please. We will be discussing only these. Okay, we need at least 3 to 4 classes. Once we are done with these reading comprehension passages, we will then move on to the other part of reading skills, that is note making and summarizing, which is quite new to you. Okay, well, I'm done with the attendance as well. Thank you so much for being attentive and in the class till the very end. Have a good day ahead. Now you may leave, please. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Everybody. Thank you.